Hello everyone, welcome to yet another interesting class of EDA842. And today, which is our third class, we are going to examine how management information system has impacted on the school system or on the education system. It's going to be an interesting class as usual. So let's go to the class. Yes, you are welcome to another class of EDA842. And the topic for today is application of MIS in education. And I expect you to be able to analyze the application of MIS in education, discuss factors to consider when designing MIS for education, and lastly, you should be able to describe how the knowledge of MIS will assist in discharging responsibilities in school. Now let's start with MIS in education. Basically, MIS provides school administrators and teachers with required information necessary to take informed planning, policy making, and evaluation at every stage or at all levels of education. MIS allows uh, the school administrators or uh, people in the position of authority to be able to take this critical decision for smooth running of education. However, the lack of accurate and timely data has long been the bane of policy formulation and planning in different areas, especially the education sector. People don't have, especially people in position of authority, don't have they don't have access to accurate and adequate and timely data to take these critical decisions concerning the education sector. MIS is all about information on the educational system as well as other systems in society related to education. That is the social system, the economic system, the political system. MIS still concerns all these other sectors. Overall, evidences abound in literature that management information system has positive impact on school administration and management. And these impacts include better accessibility to information. People in position of authority will have better access to information with the use of MIS. Then efficient administration, when you have access to this information, you'll be able to take decision that will ensure efficient administration in an organization, especially in an institution. Then higher utilization of school resources, because you have information of the availability of the school resources, their allocation, will be able to um, put policy in place that will ensure maximum utilization of these resources in school. So MIS allows you to do that as a school administrator. Reduction in workload, because you have information, okay, you have information about all the uh, activities in the school concerning the timetabling, the allocation of courses, the staff numbers, and some other things like that. So you are taking your decisions based on this um, information at your disposal. Better time management is very critical. It allows you to do that. And it also allows you to improve the quality of reports that you now give, because you don't give people reports based on your perception or based on your assumption. You are giving reports based on what you know is really on ground at the point in time. So let's briefly look at MIS in school system. MIS has changed school management in the areas of leadership, decision making, the workload, as I mentioned earlier, the human resources management, be able to properly utilize your staff. Now, this assists the school management or the school manager in formulating strategic plans, okay, distributing resources also, and evaluating staff performance. Then you'll be able to know who does what at a point in time, or who is not doing what he's supposed to do, who is not discharging the responsibility effectively when you have the information that will be given to you through management information system. Now attempt this class activity 1 before we continue. Let's quickly look at the factors to consider when you are designing MIS for education. And the first one is the behavioral factor. The norms, the attitude, the motivation of the people that are involved should be considered. People that are involved in terms of the staff that are working with you, and in terms of the target, the target population, especially your students, the parents, and some other critical stakeholders. You need to consider their attitude. Then you need to know what motivates them, what inspires their level of aspiration. All this will affect the kind of data you are going to generate uh, for your decision making process. You need to look at the communication channels. For instance, are you going to involve uh, the staff in seminars, meetings, retreats, and some other things to communicate information to them? And with this COVID-19 pandemic, people now organize different virtual meetings to disseminate information. So you need to consider all this. Are you going to give out this information? Because your information goes beyond your immediate establishment. You might need to exchange information to people around the world. Then you might need to consider organizing virtual meetings and video conferences and some other things. You need to consider the computer facilities that you have. It's important you note that management information system is a computer related activity. There is practically nothing you can achieve in MIS without computer. So you need to consider the computer facilities, the availability of computers, and other data transmission devices that might be necessary. Also, you need to consider the internet facilities. As I mentioned earlier on, you might need to exchange your information, the information you have at your disposal, with people across the world. Okay, the information is not necessarily meant for your staff and the students only. You might need to send information, the information you have from MIS to ministry, in NGOs, international bodies. So you need internet facility to do this. So you need to consider internet facilities. This is a critical resource for you as a school administrator to consider when you are designing MIS for education. Then you look at the personnel. Okay, for effective data processing, competent personnel with qualitative computer knowledge might be needed to help in data processing. So you need to look at the competencies of your personnel. Do they have the capability to use Microsoft Excel, for instance, to analyze data, okay, to clean data and some other things? They need to consider the database. This is quite important. Where are you getting your data? Who provides your data? Are you getting your data from your students or from the parents, from NGOs? So all these factors should be put into consideration at the designing stage of MIS for education. Then lastly, we are going to look at how the knowledge of MIS will assist you, okay, maybe as the school administrator, to discharge your responsibility in school. As the head of school, or the principal, or the provost, or the vice chancellor, the knowledge of MIS makes decision making easier for you. You'll be able to make informed decisions. Remember, when you use MIS in an institution, as the school head, you are not making decision based on your assumption, based on your assumption, or based on your perception. You are making decision based on the information you have, and this information is derived from data generated from the field. So you are making informed decision. The usual areas of information difficulties in institutions like universities, polytechnics, and even in secondary school, the usual areas of information difficulties like budgeting, students' record, staff placements, audit and account, salaries, and results can be effectively managed when you use management information system or when you have the knowledge of management information system. Now, the use of computers will facilitate the jobs done at the clerical, technical, and administrative level. So the knowledge about MIS will help you to monitor all this. Also, MIS will help to make critical decisions based on the available information. So the decision you are making as the school head is based on the information at your disposal, and this information is derived or from the data generated. So you are taking informed decision. And lastly, it allows you to get additional information from middle managers concerning problems, opportunities, and promising alternatives before making decisions. So you don't just make arbitrary decision. You make decision you make decisions uh, based on what you get, the feelers you get from people under you. When you are able to utilize MIS in the institution, you get information from teachers, for instance, you get information from students, you even get information uh, from their parents. Okay, you can use Excel to get all this information. You can just go online, use uh, Google spreadsheet, send the information, send the spreadsheets to uh, the parents, get information from them. Then when you get this, you can easily download. Then you have your information at your disposal to take article to take critical decision that will help in the smooth running of the school. These are critical areas where uh, MIS can be used in education. And as a school head, you need to understand how this is being done. It's not necessarily, as I mentioned earlier, that you have all the competencies to do this, but you should have knowledge of how MIS works so that you'll be able to coordinate the resources, human and material resources in the school system to ensure that school can be run effectively and at the end of the day, the institutional goals will be achieved. Thank you for watching. See you in the next class.